What else do you want to talk about?
Well, at the last time we met, I spoke about noises by trucks, that, since we were talking about vehicles, even scooters, you have scooters that have these little engines that they keep going up and down, it's worse than a mosquito around your ear, you know? But to have those types of, I don't know if they would be termed vehicles, but they are vehicles of some sort, included. But, you know, and I don't know if this is something that could fit under there. You were talking about the guys who do the mow the yards and so on, they block the sidewalks. Well, they also
They also make noise.
they also make a lot of noise
But
too.
everybody-
That's different, you know.
But everybody mows, that don't use that service mows their lawn or something that makes some noise.
Yeah, but
I
not.
think Bob was talking about the structure of the street, that's more of a
Yeah,
Right,
public
that's a
safety
different
issue.
thing. Yeah, no, I realize that, but that made me think that in the morning, they exactly at 7 o'clock, they come out with the weed whackers and, you know, my neighbor's yards and so on. And so I
think the problem, Jeff, you have, if you try to make this all-encompassing, with the enforcement aspect of it, I think what cities and towns have found is the bylaw is structured so that some language to the effect that if the manufacturing of the piece of equipment, whatever it be, in this case motorcycles, is modified, so it's easy to enforce, it's easy to determine whether or not that the motorcycle has been modified, then it's a violation. Otherwise, I think it would be very difficult for the police to enforce it. If we make this all encompassing and make it based upon someone's perception of what the noise level may have been, or if you have a police officer needs to go and get a decibel reader to determine whether or not that exceeds some noise level, whatever piece of equipment is, I just think it makes it difficult in terms of enforcing of it. Whereas if you have a motorcycle that has a registration plate, very easy to determine who's the owner, where it's located, and then determine if it's been modified. I just think that's the problem you may find if you try to have it all inclusive.
I don't recall which town it was, but they had a issue on trucks, and I'm going to use the term jake braking. Familiar with that? All right, but it's just an engine braking system. So, is there a way to include something like that? Because many towns do have a bylaw that makes it illegal for trucks to utilize the jake brake, which is very, very noisy. I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Well,
No.
I've heard it on the highway.
No, well, yeah, you hear it on the highway, but you'll see that a lot of truckers will use it, you know, coming to stop signs if they have to stop quickly. And I believe that was part of the concern that the gentleman had with Havel Street there, that there's a lot of, he had Chestnut Havel, a lot of, he had two concerns, safety and noise. And that might address that part of the complaint.
But if they're using, it seems to me if they're using it to stop quickly, why would we want to, yeah, it might be a good thing.
Well, if you had to do it to avoid an accident, that's a different scenario. Truckers are inherently not, and this is my industry, transportation. Truckers are inherently to save on their brakes, because they don't want to keep buying brakes. They use the jake brake. That's more cost effective for them, but it's awfully distracting to the residents within the community, and it's a huge noise. And how often does it happen?
That's the rumbling of the engine as it downshifts.
Yeah, it's I don't even, you know.
Almost sounds like a gears grinding.
And all of a sudden it stops. You know, it's a real, sometimes it's startling at times when it's done. It's very startling.
Yes, and you're aware, you get out of the way.
What?
You're aware, you get out of the way.
Well, yeah, but if I'm also in bed, I wake up. So that's something that, could be helpful.
I think Sean is right.
Incrementally.
Let's take one piece at a time, you know. If you're gonna deal with that, I'd almost want to put it on a separate article. Just, Because that's a specific thing, you wanna outlaw J-breaking.
Well, the bike's
the
a
town
specific
road.
thing too.
Right.
Right, but I don't know how you
it's
can join the
different
two.
things.
Well,
Yeah,
you're talking
it's-
about noise, it's a noise,
Right, but the noise issue, right, is, if you're dealing with noise, right, you wanna say, well, anything over certain decibels isn't allowed, right? That becomes a very difficult thing to enforce and measure, et cetera. The motorcycle issue is that the assumption is that motorcycles purchased new, meeting federal standards, come with exhaust systems that they can be noisy, a lot noisier than a car, but they're below some level. And that the real bad bikes are the ones that people have taken those systems off and put on custom pipes, et cetera. Right. So that's a little easier to enforce.
well, it's the same
Right.
thing with the Jake
Well,
brake,
it's,
though.
right, but I see it as two separate things.
Well,
I don't see it
Okay, if you-
embedded in one.
But the Jake brakes are an accessory, they're not
that's
put on
correct.
automatically as a,
It's not an all engine,
And
no,
it's-
no, you can buy an engine with it in there,
which
but,
would make it,
but,
which would make it a manufactured installed product.
Right.
that's correct, or you can, buy the part for the engine, okay? Alrighty, now, just like with the bikes, you adjust the bikes, all right, you don't know that they adjusted the bikes until you really hear the bikes, correct? Someone makes a complaint, and you go, the police go, they inspect the bike, and they see, you changed your, piping, okay? Well, the same thing with Jake braking, all right? If someone claims that a trucking company is constantly using Jake braking at a specific intersection, and someone complains about that, all right, and they have it in their engine, all right, you can pretty much say that they're using it because it's being heard and it's being complained.
I'm not arguing that at all. All what I'm saying is that I would treat it as a separate article. I think, two different things. Maybe I'm all wrong.
I see noise as one thing, okay, and noise, not everybody, there's not motorcycles all over town. There are some areas that have it more than others, all right? Some areas have trucking more than others, but they both have noise in both areas.
I don't see how one bylaw can satisfy both issues and give the police the ability to enforce both. I don't see how it can be done.
Jeff, two separate issues. I'm not opposed to the idea, look at it, I'm not that familiar with it, to be honest with you. But motorcycles, everybody's sort of familiar with and can recognize. I say, let's do this incrementally, see if we can address this first, see if we're successful at town meeting, and see if people are actually concerned about noise and things like that. And then if it is, then we come back with the next one, the next step, and see if there are any other issues, the same thing with, the dirt bikes and, those other noisy little scooters you were talking about, but.
Well, we could kill a lot of birds with one stone, but I guess,
I think on paper, it would appear that you could, but I think the enforceability comes into play, and I think that's where it gets lost.
If you're gonna make a general noise thing, you've gotta base it on a noise measure versus.
And I just think, based on your description, the manufacturer does sell this accessory, thereby making it within certain parameters illegal, whereas the modified types of motorcycles don't meet the parameters, don't meet the guidelines. So it's much more easily enforced, rather than, I know Jake breaking in this town, that's something we could do, maybe, we may be able to do that without a bylaw, I don't know, we may be able to do that as a,
yeah, many
through Mass Highway.
towns have that bylaw built into their, bylaws, so,
If you can
so
find,
it can
if
be
you can find
done.
a bylaw from another community that has that,
Yeah.
that would be, see if it's a bylaw, or see if it's just a policy, or some sort of, public safety guideline that's been passed, or something from Mass Highway.
So when I drive my wife's hybrid down the road and I step on the brakes, and it does a similar thing to J-braking, or
Okay.
an electric motor that whines, that you can hear, next thing you know, we wanna eliminate that too.
Definitely, we can't have that.
Somebody put a no Jake brake sign.
Sorry?
I saw saw the first sign in the town of Dennis.
Okay.
That's probably not a bad thing.
Actually, Dennis has a bylaw.
A little research there, but I see it as two separate, I mean, that's two separate, it's separate pieces.
Well, bringing it out, I think is important, so that's a step in the right direction.
So, we'll have some kind of a draft on the first, on the noise bylaw. And if you want to include, or put some words together, or do some research and put something on J-breaking, makes sense at that point, we're gonna add another article or include it. And then we'll have a hearing on this 14th. Anything?
I have no problem with it, no?
Any other October town meeting items at this point? Town administrators report. Please refer to the yellow copy in your packet.
Well, when we said, review the end of fiscal year report for fiscal year 2009, and as you will see from the details that are included in the packet, the town collections were good. They were good despite the poor economy that is pervasive. You'll note that local estimated receipts and local collections were about $550,000 pretty good. And similarly, real estate tax collections were strong, primarily due to increased efforts in the area of past due real estate taxes. Substantially different than a year ago, when if you look at the second sheet, it's almost identically the same. You see that the amount in uncollected real estate taxes is $347,909.65, and that compares to this fiscal year. The negative is $5,829.07, or 99.98% collected. The reason for that is partially due to the fact that we picked up some additional real estate value after the tax rate was set. So that obviously comes into play here as the assessors are going through and looking at various property in town. They do issue supplemental tax bills, and those result in the collections being higher than what we anticipated. So we've done fairly well, and also taken with the fact that after we net out the amount that was reserved by the board back in October, frozen in the municipal departments, we had a favorable turn-back of $198,000, which is a positive number also. So, speaking with the finance department, both of these numbers will be used when the balance sheet is prepared at the end of the year, and they will yield our free cash balance in time for consideration and expenditure at the October town meeting. As we had previously discussed, we do have a gap that needs to be addressed. Excuse me, there's a budget gap associated with the approved omnibus budget. We also have small snow and ice deficit that we need to clear, and several other administrative items on the agenda that need to be remedied, and no doubt the free cash balance will be utilized for that purpose. So, just wondering if you had any questions about some of the numbers that you see here, and it is all about the year-end June 30th financial report.
Just one, Greg, on the state receipts, the number of $883,000, right, does not include the last cut.
Yeah, it was 100% received. That money wasn't actually considered a state receipt, it was federal money that came in, but the amount was in its entirety collected. The Commonwealth did not pay the fourth quarter state aid payment.
Right.
The money that was received was the federal stimulus money in lieu of the state aid payment.
Right.
That number did not translate to onto this report.
Either the cut or the receipt.
Cut translates through, but the amount that we received does not translate.
So the 883,492 includes the cut.
But what it doesn't show is the money that came in from another source of funds.
I understood that piece.
Right.
I just wanna, so the 883,
Doesn't exist.
Is it a wash what we got?
It was a wash.